Right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this meeting of Cabinet on Monday, the 24th of February, 2025. Can I start by reminding everyone present that this meeting is being broadcast live via YouTube and the recording will be archived for future viewing. Could all councillors and officers that wish to speak please ensure that they switch on the microphones when they speak, and importantly, switch them off when they finish speaking. This is extremely important because for the live stream to ensure that the cameras point to the person who has indicated they wish to speak. Thank you. I'll start the meeting. Moving to the agenda. The first item is to receive any apologies for absence. Andrea.
Thank you, Chairman. Present this evening.
That's great, thank you. No apologies. Second item is, are there any declarations of interest? None indicated. Thank you. Item 3, to approve as a correct record the public minutes of the meeting held on the 10th of February 2025. I'll move them as a correct record. Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Fletcher, thank you. All those in favour of approving those minutes, please show. Any against? Any abstentions? One abstention. Thank you. To consider any items of urgent business under Rule 12? I'm not aware of any, Andrea. That's correct, yeah. Thank you. Item 5 is the forward plan. Chief Executive.
Thank you, Leader. This is the forward plan from the period of 1st of March right the way through to the 30th of June 2025. Happy to take questions on the forward plan.
Thank you, Chief Executive. Any questions from Cabinet members? So the forward plan is to be noted, so we'll note that. Thank you. Item 6 is the scrutiny review of exercise provision for young people 12 to 18. And I ask the Chair of the Scrutiny, Health and Wellbeing, Councillor Tom Hadley, please present.
Thank you, Chair. The committee were interested to understand how the Council's activities supported healthy lifestyles for young people, particularly the group of 12 to 18-year-olds. As a result, the subgroup posed themselves 4 questions. What is the current state of health for the young people of East Staffordshire? For example, levels of obesity, prevalence of health conditions such as diabetes, differences among communities. The second question was, what current opportunities for exercise exist for young people, either via Everyone Active or the voluntary sector? How does Everyone Active promote voluntary sector opportunities? Third question was, what exercise options would young people like to see provided in East Staffordshire? How does the council engage with young people? And the last question was, how does the provision compare with those provided by other local authorities? The information the subgroup reviewed included the Joint Strategic Needs Assessment, JSNA, and incorporated an interview with Everyone Active representatives to understand the scope of the service they offered. No JSNA information was available for this age group, but data showed an increase in prevalence of obesity in Year 6 pupils, ages 10 to 11, and declining healthy weight. During interviews with Everyone Active, the subcommittee was pleased to hear about the variety of services provided and the links to sports clubs. Desktop research carried out by the group illustrated that the provision in East Staffordshire was on the whole good and par or above par on neighbouring authorities. As recommendations, the group noted that the disparity in obesity for different ward areas, with those being higher in the more disadvantaged wards, with the exception of Brislingcote. Members felt more targeted or focused initiatives could be introduced to help those communities. Given the importance of the work of the wider committee, they would like to receive regular written or verbal updates from Everyone Active. and I'll open it to questions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Hadley. Any questions from Cabinet members? No. So there are two recommendations. One you've mentioned is that annual written and/or verbal updates are provided to the Health and Wellbeing Committee on health inputs and outcomes being generated by everyone active. So, James, can you take that forward to make sure everyone active are aware of that? And the second one, the Cabinet considers ways for the Council to further incentivise those wards with a higher prevalence of obesity to participate in exercises, activities. And again, for everyone active, I ask them to take that on board when they report back to us. Thank you, James. Cabinet happy with those two recommendations? Can you please show? Thank you, that's unanimous. Thank you, Councillor Hadley. Item 7, scrutiny review of community engagement mechanisms regarding climate change. And I call upon the Chair of Scrutiny, Climate Change and Environment, Councillor Michael Slater, to give us a brief presentation.
Thank you, Chair. I don't want to repeat the detail I gave you at the verbal detail I gave you at the last meeting we did on Zoom a while ago, but I do want to just clarify the importance of this topic. I mean, we are here to help the local population, and we need to demonstrate the council's credibility in doing that. And for me, this topic is very important because we need to know what people are doing out there. We need to demonstrate clearly what we're doing as regards climate change, bearing in mind its vital importance. It will change everyone's lives here, whether we want it to or not. And we've got to, if we're not seen ourselves to be doing the right thing, then our credibility in trying to get anybody else to copy us or do better than us is reduced. So, as I say, I don't want to go over the detail of it again because, as you'll remember, we did benchmarking exercises. We studied what the council already does. We did benchmarking exercises. We did a questionnaire to parish councils. We took a lot of detail from officers within the council, particularly the climate adaptation officers, regarding the staff training. So, can I just zoom forward towards the recommendations?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Here we go, everybody. So, we recommend that the council continues with the climate change communications engagement plan and any subsequent revisions. So the plan we think is you've got now is a good one. We want you to carry on with it. Importantly, we think, bearing in mind the importance and the difficulty of getting all this information across, the council considers the employment of additional climate change adaptation officers. That's 4.2. 4.3, the council continues with a calendar of training events delivered by in-house staff for both elected members and managers, and additional use of e-learning for both members and all employees, with the development of in-person training to be considered. You'll recall there's a lot of data in this document about the numbers of councillors and senior managers and senior staff who participate in the mandatory carbon initiative training. Wrong word. Where have I gone? Carbon literacy. Thank you very much. Sorry, Joe. Thank you. Yeah, carbon literacy training. Okay. And although by comparison with other councils, the fact that we do that is a good thing, and responses are comparable. By that I mean there's a lot of people who don't complete the whole training. I still think we can do better. If in my previous employment if training is mandatory, it's mandatory. The fact that there's little gaps there is for me a little bit of a disappointment. But never mind. I'll go on. 4.4. We think that the council should consider sharing discussions from the town and parish council forum on climate change with all members. I've been on one of those meetings and it was interesting. Certainly a more rapid access, I think, to grassroots feeling about climate change issues. And from the first meeting I've had, most people at parish council level are concerned about how climate change will affect them locally. They came up with lots of local projects, and particularly concerned about flooding in particular. So that's anyway. We should share the discussions more widely. 4.5 that the council considers developing an integrated approach to climate change communications across all service areas, and to leverage the expertise from these other areas such as tourism, marketing, communications, communities, waste reduction and enforcement, and to ensure a consistent message about climate change gets across. Now, I think the key to this will be better uptake of training, particularly, and certainly the idea for me of getting opinions from a wide range of sources about climate change, and certainly all the departments within the council, is a self-perpetuating thing. If we listen to all the service areas, we know what their concerns are. If we're conscious of asking them for an opinion about climate change, we're making them think, are we already, about how they can do their roles better in respect of climate change. 4.6 that the council considers enhancing the presentation of local emissions data on its website using official UK local authority emissions statistics, while incorporating complementary tools like the impact tool, which is on impacttool.org.uk. And again, as I'm sure many people in the room will know already, if you go on that website and that tool, you can drill down into the carbon emissions at parish, at ward, at town, at county level, and there's a lot of data there which is useful to all of us, I think. Recommendation 4.7: the council considers making greater use of the East Staffordshire Climate Stories page on the council website, and perhaps we should publicise this a bit more and get an invitation from citizens and local groups to send in their stories for publication. I've been trying to write one myself now for a couple of days about the small community forest, which has now got 80 trees planted in it in Horning Low and outwards. But I appreciate it's difficult, but I mean, more stories we put out there, more chance for people to tell us what they're doing, I think it would be a very good thing. And again, would add to our credibility if we are getting, if people can see, oh, look, people in East Staffordshire are doing this. 4.8, the council considers enhancing direct engagement with residents by using public surveys about attitudes to climate change and actions the council could or should undertake. And I think this one added to 4.9, the council considers instigating the establishment of a local citizens panel on climate change. Again, must fit in with our existing commitments on being more democratic and more open and more transparent, and getting the public directly involved and maybe influencing our decisions and policy making. Item 4.10, the council considers, in cooperation with external agencies where relevant, continuing to undertake free tree giveaways or other plant-based promotions for its horticultural department. I know when Paul Steed, who was the Open Spaces project staff member, manager, whatever, I can't quite remember his full title, but he was very keen on doing that sort of thing, and I think we should do as much as that as we can. And those are the 10 recommendations that I've got for the Cabinet to consider. Thank you, Chair. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. Any questions, people? Sorry.
Thank you, Councillor Slater. Any questions from Cabinet members? Comments? No? Okay. Well, thank you, Councillor Slater, for those 10 recommendations. On your second recommendation, I am going to suggest that the next budget review at Star Chambers that we give consideration to 4.2. All of the others, I'm going to ask that the Cabinet member and the head of service bear them in mind when we bring forward an update on the climate change strategy, and I'm sure they'll go to their teams as well for consideration. Councillor Fletcher.
Thank you for the last one, Chair. We are already considering a number of these things, plus some additional ones, including we are moving towards contacting all the schools in the area to get them on board to have climate, I don't know what they call them, climate managers or climate something or other, I forget now, to help them develop their own climate action plan.
So, thank you, Councillor Fletcher. Sounds like climate champions, perhaps. So, I'm happy that Cabinet support those recommendations in the way that we've said. Everyone happy with that? Could they please indicate? That's unanimous. Thank you, Councillor Slater. That concludes the public part of this Cabinet meeting. So I'm going to have to say that that in accordance with Section 100A(4) of the Local Government Act 1972, the press and public be excluded from the remainder of the meeting, as it is likely, in view of the nature of the business to be transacted or the nature of the proceedings, that there would be disclosed exempt information as defined in paragraph of Part 1, Schedule 12A of the Act. I'll move that. Could I have a seconder, please? Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Slater. All those in favour and to move it into Part B, please show. Again, that's unanimous. Thank you. This closes the public part of this Cabinet meeting. Thank you.